So, hi, my name is Paula Comunelli, and my first experience and initiation into AI was at Pepperdine University, where I was getting my master's in organization development. And Jane Magruder Watkins came to talk about it, and Ralph Kelly. And I knew when I had experienced that process, that program, that way of being, that I actually it changed me somehow, and I knew that this was it. There was something in it that it was changing me, and I was so excited about it, and so it got me. And then so I immediately then signed up, because that's what I do. I signed up for the next thing next, right? So I went to some week long thing, and then there was the advanced weekend with Jane and Ralph, and I fell in love with Jane. She's been my mentor ever since, and when I knew that the bodies of work that I've been working with, indigenous wisdom, so the natural world, and what that meant to me, and how that was a teacher for me, I wanted to integrate what I knew about that with appreciative inquiry for my thesis work, which is pretty out there, but Pepperdine's pretty good about letting people do that. And so I knew I wanted to do that, but I couldn't figure out quite how to make them come together. And so I was up with this 2-week or week-long event, learning, and I went to bed that night upstairs in some house and retreat center in North Carolina or somewhere, and I woke up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning with a fully designed model, overlaid the medicine wheel with the 4D process, and how the directions and all, it just all mapped. It was, so I was down in the garden in the morning drawing this image that had come to me in the middle of the night, and Jane came walking out. I'm in these flowers, and I'm drawing with colored pens, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got it." So that was my thesis, and it changed my world. And then when I graduated from Pepperdine, this day that we were graduating from Pepperdine to fly down to the campus in Malibu, the new director, the new VP of HR came and laid off my whole OD team. So there I was with this great new model and this great new degree and no job. And I sat in a river for months praying really around what am I supposed to do with this what I thought was wisdom. And what came to me was, because my life had been so impacted with mental health issues from my family, my own stuff, and just the world I was in, and the light of appreciation, I wanted to bring them together to do something for my community. So I had an idea in that moment to create a mentally healthy Santa Cruz County, and I was going to do that by having a summit. So that's what I decided, and it was crazy, because I was one person in a river thinking about how to do this, and I took a year to just start gathering people. So I had certainly Jane and Ralph and other people from Appreciative Inquiry, but then I started meeting with politicians and cops and people with mental health issues and families and priests. And a year later, I had to raise all the money to do it. So I got pharmaceutical companies to pay money, and I got some grants for people that would normally not give a grant for a conversation. But I said that is the outcome is the conversation. We haven't had this conversation. And so 113 people came to the room, and at the very last minute, the only people that were holding out was the mental health department, because they were afraid I was trying to take their money or tell them what to do or something. They didn't know what was going to come of this. So I went to the board of supervisors and said, just thank you all for coming and supporting this event and making mentally healthy community days and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, your mental health department's not coming. So that was my first big political, probably faux pas, because I was tired of asking nice. And so I just let the boys do what they do. And they pulled the trigger, and then all of a sudden the next day, everybody signed up from the mental health department. So there were 113 people in the room for 2 days for this summit. And it was an amazing experience. Jane spoke, I spoke, I had a board of supervisors person there. I had, it was an amazing day. The stories that came out of it, 10 teams formed as a result of the summit. It was a great, we had a appreciative train because the timing didn't work where it worked in a new way. What it worked was, instead of having people write down a bunch of strengths, I had them just go up in the mic and train by and say one thing that really popped for them about what they saw as a strength about our mentally healthy community. And I would say that it was probably the highlight of my career as far as watching a community come together. And at the end, the whole thing was televised, so community TV was there, and they showed it for like 2 years after the fact. And at the end, everybody got in a circle to talk about their experience. And I just thought, okay, we formed a circle, and then they all held hands. And it's enough for me to look at the video of it now, and just makes me want to cry, because it's like just what the power of community and bringing a community together in an experience of yes. I had a person there whose son had committed suicide with mental health issues, and just a lot of people, and people were just felt so seen and heard that never got seen and heard before. And it was just everybody, people sitting at tables having conversations that would never have had a conversation before. So it was just a brilliant opportunity. Lots of work to be done, lots of work that couldn't keep getting done because I ran out of steam. And that's the thing, I guess one of my biggest learnings is making sure that there's team around to carry on the work once it's launched, because it needed to be funded properly, and to know that everything is political. And that was a big surprise to me. So I have to say, I ended up with a national award for the work, and that's where the work took me. I ended up going to Hollywood and got to talk at Paramount Studios and walk the red carpet and all of that, and that was fun. But it wasn't enough. It was more than me. And so I said that's what I would encourage everyone, to make sure that you have partners in moving forward with the work, because it's you just don't know how big it's going to get, and it needs all of you.